In this video, we're going to theorize and accessorize. Hey Angels, it's Lookin' Bratz, aka Dom. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to break down the future of Bratz. We're going to talk about what's coming up this fall, because we're just a few days away from the Bratz 22nd anniversary, which is so wild because I feel like we just did the 21st one. A year has passed. A lot has happened to me. I bet a lot has happened to you in this past year. And a lot has happened with the Bratz brand since it celebrated its 21st birthday. Like, a lot. And I feel like there's a lot of developments happening. I feel like we need to sit down, break it down, talk about the future a little bit, because I feel like there's a lot that people are wondering about. There's stuff that, you know, some people just aren't looking for the information. Some people are worrying. Some people are worrying about things. I feel like there's nothing to really worry about at the moment, but we can talk about potential roadblocks in the ways of the brand's success. We'll get into it all in this video, but just to start us off, if you hear fans in the background, it's hot in my room. It's like 80 degrees right now. So yes, I have fans blowing in every which direction I can towards me because I can get sweaty sometimes. I also have my little display of Bratz Dolls here. I have Series 2 Nevra, Girls Night Out Chloe, Sweetheart Megan, First Edition Jade / the 20 Years Repro, GCDS Sasha, Lola Felicia, of course, and where is she? Here. Oh, Cults Gaia Yasmin, and I also have some minis on display. I have Trinity and Pretty and Punk Jade, and this is not like everything obviously that's been released in the past 2 years, but I feel like this is a nice little like recap of some of what we got. We do have some other dolls out there, but I could only do as much as would fit on my little table here, and I feel like this is like my top picks from like each of these. I can't bump into this. I don't want to knock my dolls over. I feel like this is a nice, like, you know, little recap. Some of my top picks, not the top picks, but some of my top picks from these collections. And believe it or not, we've had a decent amount of dolls come from the Bratz brand in the past 2 years. Have all of them been the best? No. Have some of them really been like underrated? I would say 100% yes. I feel like a lot of people have very negative connotations about the Bratz brand at the moment and the dolls that they've released. And I will say I understand a lot of the feedback. Some of it I personally do not get sometimes. And I'm not saying all people who have negative feedback about the brand or, you know, some sort of... I have constructive criticism for the brand. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I do think there is a good number of people who like to just kind of crap on the brand because it's kind of like the cool thing to do, which I don't agree with. I honestly think the brand is on a more upwards trajectory, and I wish a lot of more people would see like all of the good that's coming from the brands. You know what I just noticed that's missing from this lineup? Hold up. Okay, sorry, we gotta add one of the Tweevils here because I honestly, like, this slipped my mind. Bam, right next to Jade. That makes so much sense. Okay, we gotta add the Tweevils in because the Tweevils for me was such a strong release, and it technically is like half-sees the first release of 2023, but we'll get into why that is the case. But just to get into things, I will be using the Bratz 2023 Master Post on lookinbratz.com. And if you didn't already know, the Bratz 2023 Master Post, I have like 3 of these things now. I've been doing it each year since 2021. So we've got a lot of archived information here. Basically, this is a timeline of news that I post, and whenever there's a really significant piece of news, aside from like leaks and stuff, I will post it on like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever I can get the information out, and then I will archive it on this article so you can see a timeline by date when certain things happen. So we'll talk about when the Pretty and Punk stock pictures came out, when the Tweevils released, to when Tiana from Series 3 was revealed. It goes into like all of those little details, and then as you scroll down in the article, there's a list of dolls, of upcoming dolls. So we have like, you know, Pretty and Punk, Tweevils, Series 3, Bratz Minis Series 2. We have the designer dolls. We have the celebrity collector doll. We're going to break down each of these releases in this video, so don't worry. But all of this information is also in this article, so I highly, highly recommend this article. Plus, there are links hyperlinked for each character of each release that I could find links for. Some things don't have links. That's just the way it is at the moment. They will get links once those links are eventually found or when those products are officially released. Please keep in mind, and this is a huge, huge, huge disclaimer, I also write this in the description of this article, but a lot of people tend to gloss over this part, and I understand it's a lot to read, but I do think reading is very much fundamental in this case, is that not all of the links are going to work because a lot of them have been deactivated by MGA and Amazon because they don't want the information being revealed yet, despite it already having been revealed. So this is just a way to prevent early ordering so that people aren't getting dolls too ahead of time, although some people do because they order it before the links get deactivated. And it's just a way to like prevent further leaks, and I understand it. But some people are like, oh, this link doesn't work. Like, why would you post like a faulty link? And I'm like, well, if you read the thing, it will be activated again once the doll is officially released. But I think that just comes with time and patience. Like, you know, this link will work when the time comes. But honestly, I would say don't even like worry about anything. I don't think any of these dolls are selling out immediately. And that's just with any doll release these days, unless it's a Mattel Creations doll. But we're not going to throw too much shade here. But with Bratz dolls, there's generally a good amount of stock for them, and they don't go out of stock until maybe a year or two after, which is the case for most normal doll releases. So if you're not able to order them or pre-order them early, don't worry, like you're not going to miss out on anything. Just putting that out there because a lot of people tend to get like way too stressed out. Please calm your nerves. Nothing bad is going to happen. You are going to get those dolls sooner or later, as long as you're just looking at Lookin' Bratz, because I got the news, I got the tea. Not all the tea, but we'll get into that. This video is sponsored by lookinbratz.com, your #1 source for all things Bratz. On this website, you can use the Bratz 2023 Master Post, which has all of the latest news, a list of upcoming dolls, plus links to these dolls. Thank you so much to the folks at lookinbratz.com for sponsoring me today, aka myself, because I run lookinbratz.com. It also has a database with all of the released Bratz dolls up until 2021. There will be the updates soon. Plus, with these updates, as you can see, for example, on this doll's page, let's scroll down and let's try out Flashback Fever Yasmin. You click on her, click that little button in the corner, and then you can see all of this information about the dolls. There's also a ton of other features like character profiles, media profiles, a cinema with all of the episodes organized, and there's going to be a huge facelift for the website very soon, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, you can still explore lookinbratz.com. Just a disclaimer, I will, to an extent, talk about leaks. But what I won't be doing in this video, I won't be posting links to any leaks, and I won't be posting pictures to any leaks. I might describe what's in the leak, but I'm not going to outright put a picture because I do not want my video to get taken down. And I've talked about this before on this channel, is that I've worked way too hard over the past 6-7 years building up Lookin' Bratz to get anything taken down or removed by the company. Like, I don't know if they would target me. They do target other folks who post leaks, and I totally understand why. So just putting that out there, I'm not risking my accounts. If you want to see leaks, go look for them. I'm not gonna be the one to post them, so sorry about that. But let's get actually into like what's going down. So a lot of stuff has like happened, I feel, in 2022. So 2022, let's go back to 2021. So obviously we had the first edition reproductions. That, to me, whether or not people agree or not, that's totally your opinion. I think that was a strong, solid line. Were there issues with it? Yes, there were totally issues with it. There were some issues with quality control and mostly like Chloe's eyes. In some were like lopsided, and I unfortunately owned one of those Chloe's. But I got a pretty one eventually. She's up on my shelf somewhere. So I do have a pretty one. I do have 2 pretty ones now, so that's good. But there's like the one Chloe who's like, ooh, and she looks a little wonky. But aside from that, Also, Sasha, like, her, at first, her facial screening was, like, not the best. But I will say the later batches, I think, were absolutely gorgeous. Are there faults here and there with some of the dolls? Yes, quality control is an issue with most, if not all, doll releases. I think for the dolls, they were $30 at Hot Topic, but that's because it was an early release at Hot Topic, which also caused like mass hysteria because people thought that was the only chance to get them. But now I feel like the 20 years dolls were like some of the easiest ones to buy at the moment. But it was kind of like weird. Like, I tried to calm people down and be like, hey, like, these are mass produced, like, don't worry. But people don't like to listen sometimes, whatever. That's the case with every doll release ever, especially from Bratz. I feel like a lot of these releases will cause a mass hysteria, and I would just be like, woo, calm down. But 20 years, I think, was pretty solid. Aside from like quality control issues, those screenings were stamped. And if you don't know what the stamp is, it's also called the tampo method. And it's what they used on the 2015 dolls. So basically the eyes aren't as like elongated across the face as with like something like spray. You can see the eyes are a little bit more elongated, and the spray is like the best method. The spray is like the original Bratz method. But there were some, there were things that happened in 2021 that are a little difficult to think about. But I think the stamp method was pretty solid for that line. That was cool. But then we moved into later in the year. We had the Rock Angelz repros, and I feel like that left a really bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because that was when they had to sort of revise the head sculpt. They made it a little bit bigger. A lot of people thought it was the 2015 sculpt, but it was not. That's completely false. They are two different head sculpts, but yes, the 2015 head is bigger, and in comparison, the UV sculpt for the Bratz at the end of 2021 and in the beginning of 2022 that use the UV printed screens, they do have bigger heads, just not the same as the Bratz 2015 ones, because Bratz 2015 didn't even have a closed mouth mold. But putting that aside, Rock Angelz repros, yes, were they a disappointment? 100%. I agree with that too. I was so upset at the Rock Angelz repros that I went and I spent all my money on Bratzilla's off of AliExpress. Like, that's how sad I was. I was like, oh, I'm not even gonna like bother with these. But also the release of it was just so messy at the time. The distribution was horrible. I think Bratz and MGA were trying to like pull the dolls off the market and not sell them until like they could redo them. And I do think the redone versions are really great. Jade, still a little bit wonky, but I think Roxy and Sasha and Yasmin always looked good in that line, honestly. Like, with the both batches of those repros, I think looked pretty good. Chloe was okay. Jade was okay. There's like okay and okay, because Jade was a little bit, but it happened. It's whatever. I think we can leave that in the past, and that's what I really want people to do. I think everyone needs to leave it in the past. Was it recent past? Yes, but think about everything that has happened since then. I think what's happening is MGA is learning a lot from their mistakes. They're learning a lot about how to manufacture these dolls again. I think they've just been so accustomed to producing like Rainbow High and OMG and everything that Bratz have been put on the back burner, yes, but I think they're getting more back into the groove of producing and improving the production of Bratz dolls. And honestly, as a fan, I'm super grateful. But yes, Rock Angelz repros, they flopped. They were a flop. And I think a lot of us can admit that. Even MGA could probably admit that if they ever wanted to speak on it. But yeah, that's it. And that's left in the past, though. That was fall of 2021. We're about to enter the fall of 2023. And as we go through the timeline, I think things just got progressively better. Holiday Felicia and the GCDS dolls. They used the UV printing, but I think they were pretty solid dolls. Holiday Felicia had its faults here and there, yes. I do think she was a gorgeous doll. I liked her. I actually loved her a lot. Same with GCDS. I thought those were solid dolls. I think what threw a lot of fans off was that it was a different take of like Bratz, and it was an actual like fashion designer's take, like a more of like a high-end fashion, if you want to call it. Yes, so I can't be like, oh, like, you don't get this, whatever. But there's a likely chance that a lot of people didn't get it. And I didn't get it at first. At first I saw it and I was like, like, this is a little odd to me. But I really warmed up to the GCDS dolls. I really ended up loving them. Even aside from, like, the face screenings, like, they looked pretty okay. It looked like at that point they were doing a better job at sort of getting down the UV print. And whatever. And then going over to, like, Sweetheart Megan, she was the next release up. I thought that was a pretty solid release. A lot of people were super duper excited about it. I think she is now sold out at most places except for lolsurprise.com, which is MGA's direct-to-buy website, so that is a completely safe website. Another misconception is people think that's a scam site, and I'm like, no, like, that's their actual website. So yeah, Sweetheart Megan was pretty good. I like the little updates they did to her. I do wish that they didn't use the UV print screening, but even for the UV print screening, I do think she was a pretty good doll. So yeah. And then the Jimmy Paul Pride dolls, that was, first of all, a lot of people were super duper disrespectful to the designer, and that whole, like, release, like, this is where, for me personally, the leak thing comes into play, because not only do I not want my accounts to get taken down, I also want to respect MGA and the people behind the brand and the people behind the designer collaborations. I feel like it was super disrespectful for people to really pull that designer apart and go on their page and attack him. Like, I thought it was, like, one of the most horrible things, and I felt ashamed seeing it, and I really hope we don't have to experience that again. And it, it very well may have just been some bad seeds or whatever, but honestly, like, it seemed like it was intense, and I really didn't like it. I didn't like seeing that behavior come from the community. But that's, like, my take on it. I'm sure there are some people who disagree, some people who do agree, whatever. Sorry, I am just going to be rambling about these releases. But, it wasn't a bad release. It wasn't a bad release. I think at the end of it, I think it was a pretty historic release. I thought it was a positive release. Aside from, like, some things that happened here and there, I like the Jimmy Paul dolls. Were they the best? No. Were they good? Yes. I think it's just a different take, and it's a designer's take on it. And I feel like, if you didn't like it, that's not the be-all, end-all of the dolls, and hopefully we'll get more LGBT-themed dolls in the future that may be more up to people's standards, or however they like to call it. But sometimes, no matter what, I feel like even if something looks really good, some people just will not like it just to not like it. But we can get into that in just a bit. So Jimmy Paul was the last set of Bratz dolls to use the UV print method, and hopefully we can leave that in the past. And what I'm saying is, like, I know it was recent, but it is the past. And as we move forward into the fall, we got Girls Night Out, we had Series 2, we had Moa Lola and Cult Gaia. Was that it? Yeah, for the fall of 2022, that's what we got. And honestly, like, that felt like solid line after solid line after solid line after solid line. Honestly, I can't find too many faults with the dolls. They went back to the spray screenings. They brought back the original head molds. They kind of nailed down, like, the nylon hair, because I feel like with the nylon hair, some people were, like, concerned with some of the, like, the releases, like Rock Angelz, like, the hair was poofy, like helmet hair, but they really got the nylon down. And I love nylon. I think it's a great hair fiber. I don't know if it's the best suited for a Bratz-sized head, because it works a little bit better with the bigger, like, OMG and Rainbow High heads. But I feel like they did get it down. Like, come on, like let's look at some of these, like, dolls here. Like, they got the nylon down. Like, I'm pretty confident about the future of the hair. I don't see Saran making a comeback, not anytime soon. I think nylon is just easier to get for companies these days. Aside from some companies who, like, refuse to use nylon and will, like, use, like, polypropylene. But yeah, Saran is a little bit harder to source these days, especially in, like, fantasy colors. So that's why I think the standard, like, the new standard has been nylon hair, which I'm completely okay with. It's a nice premium hair type and texture. It looks very silky and smooth most of the time. And it works really great with, like, heated styling tools. So I'm completely down with the nylon. That's whatever. A lot of people will still complain and be like, I don't like nylon, I only want Saran. But honestly, good luck finding that Saran, because I don't think anybody can find it. At least not in, like, the bulk orders that they would need to create the edition sizes for these dolls because they're manufacturing like thousands and thousands of dolls. They're going to go with the hair that's easiest to find and easiest to source. And if they're already using it on Rainbow High and OMG, I doubt they're going to special order Saran just for Bratz. Like, I think we need to be a little bit more realistic in terms of our standards there. But nylon is still a great hair fiber, so I don't want to dwell on that too much, but I think it's just some getting used to for fans, and that's that. So going into this year, we started 2023 off expecting Pretty and Punk reproduction dolls, plus the new Pretty and Punk Sasha doll to come out within January and March. So originally, we thought we were going to get Megan, Chloe, and Yasmin in January, and then we were going to get, not Megan, no, Jade, Chloe, and Yasmin in January, which was kind of half what happened, but that's where things get a little bit confusing. I am going to start referencing, I have my laptop here, and I'm going to start referencing my website because I put it all down there. So it was going to be those three in January, and then in March we were supposed to get Megan, Sasha, and Eaton, but I personally did not expect a guaranteed release, personally, just because same thing happened with Girls Night Out repros. We expected them last July, and then we got them in October. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. And like, even though Amazon says this is when they come out, I feel like they're not going to come out at that time. Did I expect it to happen so late in the year? No, but I understand why. So if you're not subscribed to my friend Brooke, aka Ex Canadensis, on YouTube, she goes a little bit more into detail about this in one of her videos, but basically a lot of toy companies have moved all of their like products, like their big buck products, until the fall of this year because the spring sales have not been doing super well. I think that it's probably like a combination of inflation and oversaturation of dolls on the market currently. There's a lot of fashion dolls on the market, and I feel like as much as that's a great thing, it also leads to a lot of competition, a lot of who's going to get shelf space. A lot of doll lines have been axed because there's no shelf space like for any of these dolls. Like we saw it with like Mermaid High, we saw it possibly with Mermaids, because I don't know what's up with Mermaids, honestly. And just like, you know, if something's not moving off shelves, like retailers are not going to order those dolls. And even like Dream Ella, no stores ordered them last fall. Like they were all mostly online exclusives in the US at least. So it's interesting to see that, honestly, like that sort of like switch up. Like there's so many good things happening, but only few can really make it to the actual physical retailers' shelves. And I'm just grateful that like some Bratz are making it to retailer shelves. I don't know if I hope there's more. I really, really hope there's more in the fall and in the future, because I really do think if Bratz was given like a proper space at like Target and Walmart, I do think these could sell really well, but that also involves proper marketing. We can also get into that in this video too. But I'm hoping Pretty and Punk makes it to store shelves. I have a feeling it could, but honestly, who even knows at this point? So anyways, Pretty and Punk is expected to officially release in August. I believe that's when Amazon says, like the latest ship date on Amazon says August. So we'll see what happens by August, but I feel like that might be the safest bet because that is when a lot of fall products gets released, starting like in August and July. And I have a feeling we're gonna get mini Bratz before that, but I guess we'll see what happens. But Pretty and Punk got released in Australia. Only Chloe, Yasmin, and Jade got released so far because that was the first wave, and the second wave is going to be the other three characters. But wave 1 got released in Australia, and honestly, the only reason I could think that happened is because MGA most likely like pulled the plug on the full release because retailers probably weren't going to like order them immediately, or maybe wait until the fall. And I think MGA just wanted to wait until fall to like actually release these dolls. Truly, that's the only reason, like logically, I can think is why we haven't seen P&P have like this worldwide release yet, especially in the United States where a lot of people are asking about them. But all I can think to say is wait until the fall. And honestly, these are mass-produced dolls. Like if you've seen how many they put out in the Australian Myers stores, like there's there's a lot of these dolls to go around, so don't worry, you're not going to be left out. As long as you don't like wait forever to buy them, then you'll be good, like you'll be solid, don't worry. So with Pretty in Punk, breaking down that release, aside from like the sort of weird distribution of those dolls, so expect them in August. I feel like we might get both waves in August, so we're going to get all 6 characters. That's going to be Yasmin, Chloe, Sasha, Jade, Megan, and Eaton. They're not reproducing Cameron or Dylan. I don't know why. All I can think is that the boys don't sell as well, so they're probably only picking out certain boys from certain collections to reproduce. And these in the United States are expected to retail for $35. That is subject to change. And if you didn't already know, and you're not like really in tune with Bratz, Sasha was never produced as part of this collection. Sasha was planned like way back in the day, like when they were planning Pretty in Punk for 2005. But there's never really been like, we've never had a good look at what that doll would look like. What we do know is that we've seen the face of what the original Pretty in Punk Sasha was going to look like. But there was a leak recently. There's been a few leaks recently where we've been able to see Pretty in Punk Sasha's face, and we've also seen her hair. And I think we've seen a little bit of her clothing, but I don't know if any of those are like solidified pieces yet. I think we just have to wait until there's like a full leak, or if there's stock pictures that come out at some point. All I gotta say is be patient, like it's gonna come at some point. And with Sasha, we did get her artwork, and that was official, so I'm posting that because it's official. And her artwork was leaked on, not leaked really, it was put on a t-shirt that was released ahead of the doll's release, technically. So we have her artwork here. We can see that she has like curly hair. She has kind of like, it's twisted up in like this bun sort of, and there's like a white or blonde streak that goes through it. I forgot what the leak looked like of the actual doll, because the doll did leak, but like the nude doll, not the doll with her clothing. But there are some pieces that may be hers that have leaked, and that's as much as I'm gonna say about that. But I do think that this is going to be a really solid doll. I think she's going to fit in pretty well with the rest of the P&P lineup. I think the one thing that worries me about this release is that even if it's a good doll, I feel like people are going to hate on it, because for some reason, even like with last fall's dolls, I thought last fall was so solid. I thought everything was so good. Really, for me, it was like hit after hit, because the quality and like the love and the effort put into the dolls was so apparent. And I thought it was really, honestly, I feel like some people like to just hate because it's like in their blood, and I feel like they just want to hate things because they don't want to seem like they like enjoy things, like they just want to be kind of miserable. And I'm not saying that like if you have a valid reason to dislike the dolls, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, like whatever. But honestly, like for me, I can find the flaws in like certain dolls, but I could not find most flaws in the fall 2022 lineup. So I honestly think a lot of it was like made up. I thought it was a lot of made up like issues. People just made up issues to have issues, and I feel like that's been the case with a lot of Bratz releases, especially like I think even stemming back to like 2018 with the Hayden Williams collection. Were there issues? Yes, 100% there were issues, but you can't sit there and tell me those weren't like solid dolls. Like they were dolls, they did the thing. I don't know, like I feel like people really just want to like hate things to hate things, and I dislike seeing that, especially in the doll community. I really wish that people would give this brand a better chance at like thriving and surviving without being so like hateful. Because like how could you look at Girls Night Out or Series 2 or Cult Gaia or Miss Felicia over here from Moa Lola? Moa Lola was like probably one of the most popular lines last year, and I can't believe people can like sit there and like just hate on it for no reason, like no valid reasons given. They'll be like, oh, I don't like the faces, but the faces looked pretty spot on to me, even with like some errors here and there. Like the faces were still pretty solid. And I feel like a lot of people don't remember that Bratz had wonky faces in the past too. Like this isn't like a new thing introduced to the brand. Like I've had so many Bratz from like the classic years from 01 to 09 that have wonky faces. Like I feel like we need to just like stop expecting complete perfection, and we have to like take what we're given that's actually good. Like, these were actually good dolls, and they were pretty solid reproductions. Did they have everything that they originally came with? No, but that's also because inflation, materials, everything changes. Like, these dolls are like 18 years old. Like, you can't expect the same exact doll 20 years later. Not even Barbie can fully reproduce a doll that they produced 25 years ago. Like, I think we need to just be a little bit, set more realistic standards for what these dolls are capable of. And that's my issue with the repros, is that people expect a little bit too much from the repros, and they expect it to be an exact replica. But I think the near exact replicas are solid. Like, they're solid dolls. But to expect like the exact same doll to be released like 18, 20 years later, I feel like is completely unrealistic. And I need people to sort of like understand that. But that's, you know, I don't want to sound rude about it, but like, it really just irks me the way people act about the repros sometimes, which is why I think we need new dolls. So I would like new Playline dolls, so that there is no standard to hold these ones up to, because they don't look exactly like the originals. But I'm gonna be honest, some of them looked better than the original dolls. Series 2, Nevra and Megan, I thought looked really good, especially compared to the original dolls. And I also feel like the boys looked a lot better. Like, they looked more refined. But that's like my opinion, whatever. So I'm going off right now. But Pretty and Punk, yeah. Some people are complaining about Pretty and Punk and saying that they don't look completely like the originals, and I feel like that's the same case. Pretty and Punk at this point is what? Almost 18 years old now, so yeah, they're not gonna look exactly like the originals. But do they look good? Yes. Let's not get it twisted. These dolls look pretty solid to me. And they look solid to a lot of people. A lot of people are excited for these dolls. I'm excited for these dolls. Like, let's stop the negativity, please. Please. So, Pretty and Punk, yes. August, $35. Sasha's brand new. First Playline doll. Sasha's gonna be our first new Playline doll in a long time. A long time, since 2016 technically. So it's been that's a long time ago. Jeez. Okay. We had the Tweevils. The Tweevils came out. If you didn't see my Tweevils review, go check out my Tweevils review. I also have a review on lookinbratz.com/blog where you can see a closer look at the Tweevils. I thought the Tweevils were such a great, solid release, a great collector's release. I know there were some issues with the pricing, but these are dolls with brand new sculpts, sprayed faces, modified bodies, I guess you could say, and they were brand new dolls. They had brand new screenings too. Like, I loved it. I loved the Tweevils. I thought that was such a cool release. I love the little rollout they did. I was involved with some of the marketing, so I really enjoyed seeing how that all played out. I loved like they were the #1 best-selling toy in the dolls category on Amazon, like during the launch weekend, which I thought was super cool. And again, people were hating on the Tweevils because they expected something like high couture, like hot glam, like whatever. And I just feel like, again, it was just unrealistic, because why would they do that with dolls that have never really been produced as a doll before? Like, these are characters that are being produced 18 years later because they were popular with fans. And why would fans go flock to, especially like not just fans, I'm talking about like the more casual fans who are not like diehard Bratz fans, but do enjoy Bratz, and they enjoyed the TV show and the movies, and they recognize the Tweevils, but why would they go out and buy like something that is not recognizable to them? Like, I would like to ask that question to some folks, because I feel like that wasn't communicating with some people. But yeah, Tweevils, solid release. I love them. I think they looked amazing. I appreciated all of the effort that went into making them, especially like new sculpts, new screenings, box design. A box design was like one of my favorite Bratz box designs ever, and that box design makes so much sense 18 years later, because it has all of their iconic quotes all over it. It wouldn't have made sense 18 years ago, because the Tweevils would not have been considered as such like pop culture Bratz mainstays as they are now all these years later. So that was just something to consider for that. But moving on, Bratz Series 3, and I feel like this has been a very, very highly anticipated one. According according to Amazon. These are coming out in July. Is that 100% accurate? Take it with a grain of salt is all I'm going to say, because Tiana was recently revealed in a Stylecaster article about like Bratz and astronomy and astrology, same thing. I don't know. I think I took an astronomy class in college. How embarrassing is that? But Tiana got revealed, and it is a semi-reproduction of Welcome to Fabulous Tiana, who I do love. I love that doll, but she has an updated screening, which I really appreciate because I'm not a big fan of Tiana's original screening, and that was the only time Tiana's screening was used, was for that one doll. So we have an updated screening, which I'll put here. This was officially like approved by MGA to be posted in that article. So this is like an official reveal of the doll. We don't have any pictures of the packaging yet, and we don't have like any official pictures of the other dolls, but there are some like leaks here and there that have gotten out. So for Dana, I think the cat is out of the bag for Dana, is that her reproduction is going to be of her Funk and Glow 2nd edition doll, and Fiana's doll is going to be the Funk Out Fiana. Felicia is going to be Campfire Felicia, which is not shocking. Her head like leaked, I want to say maybe earlier this year, if not late last year. That's been out for a while. And then I think Kobe's has been assumed to be his first look, which was like 2nd edition Bratz. So everything is pretty much like confirmed because of like leaks and stuff. Like Dana's shoes leaked. I think Fiana's Fiana's head leaked. Oh my goodness. Fiana's like whole like head leaked. We haven't seen a Dana leak for the head yet. We saw Felicia's head a long time ago. The first time we saw Tiana was actually through that article, so that was pretty cool. Kobe is not leaked at all from what I've seen, so that's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm not posting the leaked pictures here, but I will post that Tiana picture because that's official. It's an official reveal. We're here for it. I'm living for it. Tiana looks amazing to me. The other leaks have looked really, really good to me, so I'm confident in Bratz Series 3. I love this concept of reproducing characters, not just complete lines, because honestly, it seems a little bit wasteful to put all the budget towards like one line when it can be used to reintroduce these fan favorite characters to fans. I loved Series 2. I loved that they brought back Kiana. Like, that was so unexpected, and for someone who's one of their first Bratz dolls was Kiana, like that was so special to me. I know it was special to a lot of Kiana fans and a lot of Bratz fans generally. Nevra looked amazing. Like Nevra, like come on. How could you not love Nevra? And Kumi looked great. Megan looked better than her first release in my opinion. Dylan looked pretty good. Like it was a solid release in my opinion. So the fact that we're getting like these reproductions and like the trapezoid packaging, like it's so satisfying to my eyes to see that. So I'm looking forward to seeing these dolls in their actual packaging. And I don't know the colors for the dolls, but if I were to guess, Dana, I would say would probably be like a blue or maybe like a pink. Fiana would probably be like a purple. Or like Fiana might be blue. Because I think Fiana's icon is blue. I don't know. And then Felicia, I'm expecting green because of Campfire and because her nickname is Glam Gecko. Tiana, I'm expecting red because, okay, here's the funny thing, is Tiana's nickname is not her original nickname. So in the Stylecaster article, they did confirm that Tiana's new nickname is Hot Sauce. So I'm expecting red for her box. But her original nickname, let me pull it up because I have it on her character profile. So if you go to lookinbratz.com, go to the character profile section, you will see character profiles with like information for each character. Her original nickname is Elegant Elephant. Please. Such a weird nickname, but that was kind of made up, I think, on the spot because of her like triplets release, which was like considered not canon by a lot of Bratz fans, and I understand that. But technically her nickname was Elegant Elephant, so I kind of like Hot Sauce though, like it makes sense. Bratz nicknames are like a wild thing. You have to listen to this Bratz Line episode where they talk about the names and the nicknames. Like, you listen to these nicknames, you can also see them at lookinbratz.com/style/characters, I think. go to lookinbratz.com. Like, this is a whole plug for lookinbratz.com, isn't it? But yeah, pretty solid. I'm expecting those to do really well. I think people are going to like them. I hope people like them. I think it's going to be a great line, especially because a lot of people want Felicia, and I think this is going to be great to make Felicia more accessible. And that's what I love about the reproductions, is that they're making a lot of Bratz dolls more accessible, whereas the secondhand Margaret has been complete, utter chaos. Like, it's been horrible for Bratz collectors out here. So to have reproductions that are pretty faithful to the source material, I'm here for it. So, okay, this one, there's not much information on it. It's the Bratz designer dolls, and it says they're coming out in August. Again, that is TBD. Those are expected to retail for $60.99, similar to Cult Gaia and Moa Lola. Backtracking just a little bit, Series 3 is expected to retail for $26.99. Not shocking, that's the standard price for those dolls that's the standard price for the dolls these days. And moving down, okay, back to designer dolls, $60.99, 2 characters, as far as we know. All of the designer collabs, Jimmy Paul, Cult Gaia, Moa Lola, GCDS, they've all had 2 dolls per collab. I think that's a safe number because you can't expect all the dolls to like sell out. I think they have to choose the best characters, and I do believe the designers have free reign to choose any characters that they want. So, yes. The characters are not confirmed. We don't know anything about the characters. We know nothing about which designer is involved. Possibly August. If not, I would say probably later in the year, like October to December, because that's when we saw Cult Gaia and Moa Lola. We'll see what happens with that. There have been these like shoes that leaked, and they're often listed with a bunch of other Bratz shoes, which we'll get into in just a second. And they look like the Gucci logo, but they're actually not Gucci. So I think it's safe to say the designer collab is not Gucci. Apparently, these the shoes, they go to, I don't know how to pronounce the brand name, but Carole Girls or Carole Girls. And I'll put a picture here, but you can see the shoes as well. It doesn't look like the Gucci logo to me, but I guess some people thought it was the Gucci logo. And people were like, oh, is it Bratz x Gucci? And I'm going to say no, because those shoes do not belong to Bratz. And then moving down, today's hot topic on Twitter and now Instagram and possibly Facebook right now has been the Bratz celebrity collector doll. And I'm shocked that it leaked. Not the doll, the shoes. The shoes leaked early, and the shoes may or may not give away who the celebrity is. I'm not going to say the name, but I'm a little disappointed it got leaked this early. I do kind of wish this was a surprise. I wish, and I still hope that the launch goes super well for this doll or these dolls. We'll get into why I say these dolls, because there's something a little bit weird with the listings here. So on Amazon last year, I found the listing for the celebrity collector doll, which is $79.99 US. Makes sense because the celebrity's name is attached to it, plus profit on both ends, both the company and the celebrity and that person's representatives. But the shoes leaked today, and the shoes looked pretty cool. I like the shoes. They were kind of like lipstick tube, kind of like the Chucky Tiffany boots, but kind of better. And there is a signature on them, and some people matched up the signature to a celebrity signature. And that's as much as I'm going to say about that. It looks like there might be 2 versions of this doll. There's possibly going to be the collector version, and according to Amazon, this is going to come with 2 outfits, 2 pairs of shoes, accessories, and a dress form with a stand. That seems pretty standard for like Moa Lola and Cult Gaia. I think they're going to keep up that formula because it worked so well in the fall. And I love the stands. Like these stands. Oh. These stands are like my favorite Bratz stands. I need these in like bulk. I need like 1 million of these stands. Also, can we just say, how could you hate on Moa Lola Felicia? Like, that is like one of the best dolls. Her and Jade were just such solid, amazing dolls, and I cannot believe there were some people who were still not satisfied. But I think it helped. I think Moa Lola helped a lot of people get back into understanding what Bratz is. But anyways, celebrity collector doll, $80. Comes with all that stuff I had just mentioned. And in Target, somebody, I think I credit them somewhere. I don't want to say their name just in case they don't want to be mentioned directly, but there was a listing for $29.99 US dollars in the Target inventory system called Bratz Celebrity Mass Doll. Now, my foot fell asleep. Now, I don't know what the details are for this because there's like no information anywhere else except for this Target listing, but there were a few Target listings that have not made their way to Amazon or may have been deactivated before we could get links to Amazon ones. But it's called Celebrity Mass Doll, and what is being speculated, no confirmation, is that this will be like a scaled down version of the collector version of the doll. So there'll be like the collector celebrity, and there will be a more mass produced version that will be like possibly in stores or maybe at more like big box retailers like Target, maybe just online. Who honestly knows at this point? It's so hard to know like what the retailers are going to order. But yes, celebrity mass doll and celebrity collector doll. I guess we'll have to see what happens with that. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Fall 2023 theme doll. This I feel like is up in the air because there's no information about this. Bratz did a poll back in December of 2022 asking fans for opinions like whether or not they would want Fashion Pixies, Tokyo Go-Go, Slumber Party, or Sunkissed Summer to be reproduced. And there's like no confirmation at all about what is being produced. So I think we'll just have to wait on that. Like, they're literally like, people think it's Tokyo Go-Go, but I'm holding my breath until those dolls come out, because even if Tokyo Go-Go won the polls, what we want is not necessarily what we're going to get. So I think we just got to be patient and see what they produce. But if those do release, or when they do release, I don't know, those will probably be about $35, same in price point as the Pretty and Punk dolls. Now, the next ones are the Bratz budget dolls, and so these are speculated to be $15, and I don't know where these are going to be released. The only confirmation we have is that they were at some toy event. I'll post a picture here because that was an official picture posted somewhere. I don't even remember at this point, but these are just re-releases of the 20 years dolls in like a more slim packaging. They look pretty cute. I don't know if they're going to be like fresh batches or if they're going to just be repackaged from the original release from 2021. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with those. And those come with the doll second outfits. Again, there's like not much information on these budget dolls. I like the packaging a lot though, like they're kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to that. The Bratz Funky Fashion Furniture Retro Swing Chair. There's been no link to this, but this was like kind of confirmed somewhere. I don't know exactly where the information came from per se, but the person who reported on this is a very reliable source, is all I gotta say. No Amazon link, no any information about this release, no other information on it. So we'll just have to wait and see what that's gonna be like, but apparently it's gonna be about $25, and it's just gonna be a reproduction of the iconic swing chair from the Funky Fashion Furniture line. So hopefully that's all cute. It looks good. You can't really mess up a furniture reproduction, right? Let me not eat my words when that comes out and doesn't look good. We'll see though. I think it's gonna be fine. Bratz shoe packs. So a lot of shoes. Oh my god, shoes. A lot of shoes have been leaked off of like Taobao, which is the Chinese selling website where a lot of leaks are found because a lot of those shoes and like accessories and dolls are factory rejects, or they get stolen by the factory workers to then get relisted on these websites for purchase. So a lot of shoes have been making the rounds on these websites in a lot of different skin tones. We've gotten princess shoes, we've gotten feeling pretty shoes, we've gotten a lot of the classic Bratz boots. We've seen a lot of it kind of like circulating, so I don't know what's gonna be in these shoe packs. I don't know what they're gonna look like, what the packaging is gonna look like. I'm gonna assume it might look like the original packaging from the original shoe packs, which I love. I love that packaging so much. And it looks like it's gonna be probably a mix of newer shoe molds and the older shoe molds. And just like the other ones, there's no Amazon links, no other information about this release. So we're just gonna have to see what happens. but they're expected to be about $10, and you get about 3 shoes for the original ones. Like the original sets had like 3 pairs of shoes, so I think that's pretty good, especially when you look at Rainbow High and whatnot, and their shoe packs are like $10. You get 1 pair of shoes. If you can get 3 pairs of Bratz shoes for $10, that's pretty good to me. Mini Bratz Series 2, I feel like this is going to come sooner than expected. Honestly, what I'm going to theorize, not accessorize, or we're going to theorize and accessorize. In this video, we're going to theorize and accessorize. That's a good intro. I should use that. I theorize that these are going to come out soon. I feel like it's going to be soon. So the original Mini Bratz, I want to say got announced in June. Possibly, I want to say it was June. And they got released around June, July, and then like more mass released in August of last year. So if we're keeping up with a similar timeline, I think we could see these dolls as soon as like next week at this point. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Like, I'll bite my tongue till then, but I'm expecting to see them by at least next month. I don't know what we're going to get, but I think we're going to get some good stuff. There's a few other Mini Bratz items that are coming out. We have the Mini Bratz collector's case, which is going to be $30. I don't know what's in it, but it sounds really cool. So I'm hoping that's going to be good. No details or anything, no Amazon links. This was a Target listing, so we'll see what happens with that, but there is a confirmation that we're going to get a 2-pack, which is actually kind of like a 3-pack when you think about it. It's going to be $20. This was listed on Target's inventory system, but there's going to be a Mini Bratz Collector Edition 2-pack with Holiday Felicia and the Tweevils 2-pack. So again, that's why I'm like, it's kind of like a 3-pack, but whatevs. It's like 2 doll sets is what I'm trying to get at. So we got Holiday Trinity with the advent calendar. So we're also going to get Holiday Felicia to kind of like do a little Holiday Girls link up, I guess. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all the Mini Bratz. I loved Mini Bratz. That was one of my favorite releases of last year. And I completely forgot to mention it when we were doing our little overview. But I feel like Mini Bratz is such a perfect mix of the old and the new because it's a new product, referencing old products, but it's not committal. And I feel like the issue with the repros is that it's a little bit more committal. Like, you're expecting consumers to commit to buying these products when a lot of the times I feel like it kind of caters to a more niche audience. There are some folks who are going to get it, like who are not diehard Bratz fans, but I think the Mini Bratz are a little bit less like, oh, like I don't have to buy the full doll. I can buy a miniature replica. And I could also easily collect these. They're more easily collectible, which I think a lot of folks, like both casual fans and diehard fans, really appreciated. Like, I loved it because I would be like, ooh, like I can go get like a $10 case of like 2 little Bratz dolls and I'll be satisfied because it has Bratz on it and I'm a Bratz fan and I love Bratz so much because I'm a Bratz fan. Like me, like I'll take anything. If it says Bratz on it, I'll take it. Like it's mine. I own it now. But like, you know, what else would you expect from me? And okay, those are all of the confirmed for now releases. But there have been some other things that have popped up. So I don't know if anybody remembers this, but back in January, at the very end of January, Bratz posted on their Instagram stories, do you want to see a Bratz Babies reboot? And I was shocked. I was super shocked by this because there's not a solid, how do I put this? There's not a solid place for Bratz dolls on the market right now. Like, the presence of Bratz dolls in retailers, like physical stores, has been very minimal over the past 2.5 years now. 2 years? How long? Time is a concept, is a construct. So there's very minimal Bratz presence in stores right now. So it's interesting to see them talking about a reboot of Bratz Babies. Maybe they're just trying to gauge interest. I do think Bratz Babies was definitely the most popular of all the Bratz spin-offs. So it wouldn't be shocking to see if they maybe did that or maybe tested the waters. Bratz posted something on Instagram recently talking about their 22nd anniversary, and they put a picture of Bratz Babies in there, and I'll put the screenshot right here. And I thought it was pretty interesting. I don't know if they were hinting at anything or I don't know. My theory theory, not confirmation, is I think Bratz Babies might come back in the form of Miniverse. I feel like Mini Bratz Series 2, we might see Bratz Babies. But that is just me theorizing, not accessorizing. So yeah, I guess we'll see what actually happens with that, if that comes to fruition this year or maybe next year. Who knows when that could happen, but I'm interested in seeing that because I think a lot of people want to see Bratz Babies make a comeback. But again, I really hope that Bratz can find a more solid place in the actual market before, you know, spawning spawning their newborns out into the market, because that's a little scary to think about, as like, you know, Bratz don't have like shelf space in a lot of retail big box stores, so now we're gonna put a spin-off into the mix. I don't know, but technically Mini Bratz is a spin-off on its own, so who knows what the tea is. We'll find out the tea eventually. That's what I'm kind of here for. I will relay all the news, all the public news. If it's a leak through like a website that shouldn't be selling those products, technically, I won't be posting about it. Again, not risking my account. I also need to put the disclaimer out there that I do not work for MGA Entertainment. I do work with them on some freelance stuff, but that is as far as my connection goes with them. I do know the members of the Bratz brand team, but they don't really clue me in on most things. I find out most of the time the same time as everybody else. There's been few exceptions to that, but for the most part, if I know something that is public, I will relay the information. If I know something that is private, I won't be relaying that information. And that's something that bothers me sometimes, is like people will like kind of like not like harass me, but will be like, oh, like, what do you know about this? Like, tell me more about this. And I'll be like, go to the website, go to my website, all the information's there. And if there is something that I know, there's obviously a reason I can't share it. So I'm not going to be sharing information about upcoming releases that's private publicly to people that I don't really know. And that's not really throwing shade at anybody specifically. It's just kind of like a general statement. Like, I don't know anything about like upcoming, like if there's Bratz Playline, I would love to know. I would love that information. I don't know if there's going to be an actual Bratz Babies reboot. I don't really know what's going on with Mini Bratz. Like, I don't know what that's going to look like. I really don't know a lot, so I'm learning things the same time as everybody else. But my website and my articles and everything that I do on social media is supposed to organize it all so that it's an easier resource for fans to access. So it's there. My information, the public information is out there. It's all organized on the Bratz 2023 master post on lookinbratz.com/blog. That is lookinbratz.com/blog/Bratz. lookinbratz.com/blog/Bratz-2023-news, or just search up on Google Bratz 2023 master post and it should be the first thing that pops up. And I would say use it to your full advantage. Now, in terms of other things happening this year, I really know as much as everybody else. I know a few things here and there, but like nothing major and nothing I can share publicly. But if a lot of people are wondering about like a Bratz show, and I don't know, like that could be a possibility. It might not be a possibility. As far as I know, and as far as like the public information out there is, MGA recently acquired Pixel Zoo Studios, which is the animation studio behind Rainbow High and LOL House of Surprises. So there could be a possibility they might use that to their advantage. The Bratz brand was brought up in the articles about the acquisition, so possibly, possibly not. There was this image though that Bratz posted recently of the animated core characters with a date that says 8/31/23, meaning August 31st, 2023. So I don't know what's gonna happen that day, but we'll find out on August 31st, I guess. So we'll see what happens then. I hope it's something cool. I would love for it to be like a show or something, but for me, I try to keep my expectations a little bit lower just in case, because I don't like disappointments. So I would say take everything with a grain of salt and go in with low expectations so that you're not disappointed if you don't get exactly what you want or what you were expecting. That's just my advice, my 2 cents though. Video games, I was really pleasantly surprised that Bratz came out with Flaunt Your Fashion last year. I have not had a chance to play it. And I just recently got a PR package from Outright Games, which, that's a long story. But Outright Games sent me the PR package. So actually, thank you to Outright Games. They sent me Miss Girls Night Out Yasmin here. She looks pretty good. I wanted to get Girls Night Out new in the box, so this might start off that collection. If not, I'll keep this one and preserve her in the box because she looks pretty perfect in this box. So thank you to Outright Games for that. They also sent me one of the mini Bratz Series 1 sets, and they sent me download codes to play the game, so hopefully I can play that game soon. I might be doing a giveaway soon with some download codes for Flaunt Your Fashion, so stay tuned to like my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that to see giveaway details on that. They just recently did the Girls Night Out DLC fashion pack, which is like $5. They also did a free update, and I don't know what the update consists of, honestly, but I think it's cool that they're actually updating the game, and hopefully in the future they decide to update it more. I don't think there's a follow-up in the works, but it would be cool if there was a follow-up in the works. If not, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about the game, so I think updates and DLCs might be the best way to go for now before doing some sort of follow-up. But if they do a follow-up, I do hope it's a little bit more faithful to what people were expecting, like the original games. But again, that's why I'm always like, go in with low expectations, because you just never know. And is there anything else Bratz related that we could talk about for this year? Because I can't think of anything. The only other thing that's like popping up on my article here that stands out to me is Isaac Larian loves to get on LinkedIn and is always talking about like, look out for a huge surprise from Bratz in the fall that will shock the toy industry. And who knows what that means at this point? Like that man is just always saying something. But I do think he might be referring to the celebrity doll. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what shocking surprise he will come out with. I love Isaac Larry, and I think he's a really cool guy. I met him in person, and I was starstruck. I could have cried. We took a picture together. If you didn't see it, here's the picture. That was such a special moment for me. I was really happy about that. But that's it. That's all I can think of. I think that covers just about everything we can talk about with the upcoming Bratz in 2023. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to do tons of reviews and tons of unboxings and whatnots and social media posts about whatever is coming out with Bratz. I think it's going to be a big season for Bratz. It looks like they have a huge lineup ahead of them, possibly more if they decide to go down the reboot route for Bratz Babies, or maybe there's like surprise releases. I don't know. We'll find out as time goes. All I can say is it takes time to look this good. I'm happy that they're coming out with stuff in the fall. I do think Pretty and Punk might have fizzled out if it was released in the spring. Plus, I wanted them to give some more love to like Moa Lola, Kolgaya, and Girls Night Out in Series 2 because they didn't have a proper chance to shine within such a short time period. So I'm glad that they expanded on that a little bit more. And I'm really hoping with marketing, they really give love to these upcoming releases. I think all of these releases sound so cool. They sound like they're going to be great. They sound like they're going to be like solid releases again. I think it's going to be a solid season for Bratz. This is my Bratz forecast. This is what this video should be titled, Bratz Forecast. So we'll see what happens with Bratz this fall. I think it's going to be really special. Plus, on top of that, tons of like brands are collaborating with Bratz. We've had Primark, we've had Forever 21, ASOS just did something. Everything. A lot of brands are collaborating. There's a bunch of Walmart stuff that's been coming out, like cups and pajama pants. Like, it's all been really cool seeing Bratz have more of a presence in stores. I love like the Urban Planet, Charlotte Russe stuff that comes out, like the t-shirts, like that's my gig. This t-shirt, let's talk about this t-shirt real quick. This is Bratz Funkin' Glow. Hold up. On a t-shirt, Five Below. $5 at Five Below. Is it a little cheaply made? Yeah, of course it's Five Below, but I love Five Below, and I got this t-shirt. They have some cute t-shirts though, and I was so happy they had a Bratz t-shirt. I feel like Bratz at Five Below is long overdue, so I'm hoping to see more Bratz stuff at Five Below. Hopefully not because it's been discounted, but hopefully because it was made specifically with Five Below in mind. But that's it. That's pretty much it for Bratz, and that's my little Bratz forecast for 2023. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this kind of cleared things up. All I gotta say at the end of it is be patient, wait for the news, wait for things to be like officially announced and released. I feel like jumping to conclusions isn't the solution. You get the reference there? So That wasn't really intentional at first. Jumping to conclusions has proven to be a risky game, especially when it came down to certain releases last fall. So all I gotta say is take things with a grain of salt, look forward to things, don't put such a negative energy into it. I feel like the more negative energy that gets put into it, the more negativity there is going to be around it, and there's going to be less fun. Like, just have fun. Like, I think, you know, Bratz is really building itself back up. Are there issues with it? Yes. I have issues with the way they market the dolls sometimes. I have issues with the way that they really just try to get the word out there about the dolls. I feel like they could be doing a little bit of a better job at that. But I also know there's probably limited budget and resources on that end of it. So I don't want to completely fault them for it, but I also want to be like, I don't know. I feel like all of MJ's brands have been struggling in the marketing department lately. No shade to MJ marketing. I feel like it's just, there's a lot of brands at MGA. There's probably a lot of focus being shifted around. They have Rainbow High, they have Shadow High, they have Bratz, and Bratz is becoming like a bigger thing now. Miniverse has been like a really big brand for MJ, it seems like, this year. They have LOL Surprise, plus all of LOL Surprise's like million spin-offs. They are like the continuation of Bratz, let's be real. And that isn't like MJ's only gig. MGA has a bunch of other brands that they have to look after, so I'm sure that the focus gets shifted a lot. A lot of the attention might go to one brand more than the other. But I think with Bratz, I have such a positive feeling about this year, especially like late this year. Like, I'm hoping like everything just goes well for the brand. Of course, I'm gonna say that because I'm a Bratz fan at heart. Like, they are my number one fashion doll. I love dolls generally, but Bratz is obviously my number one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this fall, and I'm always wishing the best for Bratz. And I think behind the scenes, there are some really great people working on the brand. I think there are people who are passionate about the brand working on it. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this year. And I'm hoping and praying that it goes well. And I'm hoping that for the future of Bratz, I hope we get to see it be the brand, or at least like a semblance of what it used to be. And I think it fully has the potential to, but I think it's up to MGA to make those decisions. And I think it's also up to fans to demand those things and to purchase the current products and support those products so that we can get more stuff in the future. And I think, you know, shrouding things in negativity won't get us far anywhere. I think it might have worked to help us get better products. And I think now that we have the better products, we need to start supporting the products to further get along with what we actually want. We want new dolls. Like, come on, like, let's get new dolls here. But all I gotta say is, if going into 2024, I personally can't see the brand surviving off of reproductions. I don't think it's realistic. I've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it again. I think Bratz has so much potential that it needs freshness, and I think a lot of people mistake Bratz for this Y2K sort of like nostalgia thing, but I don't think it's just that. I think that's what a lot of people have made it out to be, and I think to an extent MG has believed that's what it is. But Bratz was always about trend forecasting. It was always about looking forward and seeing what was going to be relevant in the future and how can we translate that into fashion dolls. And the dolls were always very current of the time. And even like in their worst times, like going back to the 2010s, they were still very current for what it was at the time. So I think it's just that, like, it needs to be current. And while some of what we see with the reproductions might be kind of current, I think there needs to be more of like what's gonna be big at this moment, what's gonna be big at this time, what is going to be on the trendier side, and how are we going to make this brand fresh and new again? Because Bratz was constantly reinventing itself in the 2000s. While it may have been like one era, it felt like there was a lot of sub-eras. Like, there was the 2004 era, like Flashback Fever and Forever Diamonds and Genie Magic. Like, those all kind of fit into their own categories of what Bratz was always reinventing itself to be. And I feel like people need to understand that. And I'm hoping MGA at some point gets that and can replicate that sort of formula again and really start anew with the dolls. I think ideally, in my head, I think there should be more playline collections, new playline collections, and I think right now, like, reintroducing characters has been really smart because now they can take these characters and implement them into lines if they do like some sort of reboot or something. And then alongside those, I would say maybe one reproduction line or like one reproduction of a popular doll from back in the day. And then I would say like one or two designer collabs a year, tops, or like the celebrity collector doll, like designer, collector, whatever you want to call it. I would say those types of releases could be like a online exclusive or something. And then we can have stuff that's a new playline actually on store shelves. I think that would be the best formula in my opinion. But that's as far as I'm going to share about what I think Bratz should be doing because I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not getting paid to share my ideas right now. And I have a lot of ideas, is all I'm going to say. But again, that's my thoughts about 2023. That's all the information we have so far. That's how I'm feeling about the future of Bratz. I think it could be a very positive, bright future for the brand, but I think it really is a matter of a combination of the fans and the company to be held accountable in supporting the brand, honestly. So yeah, I hope my point got across. I hope I explained that all correctly. And thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Bratz and doll content. And follow me on all socials. I post all the latest updates about Bratz at Lookin' Bratz, hold the G, on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube, of course. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!